I've been in real estate for just about 3 years now, and they're definitely significantly behind in regards to tech and innovation as opposed to most other industries. They're just slower to adapt in general. Real estate's a lot of older money, a lot of old school guys that don't like to change their ways that they've been doing for 60, 70 years. They don't want to change a thing. Residential definitely has been much more involved with social media and innovation and tech, slowly seeing a little bit more in commercial real estate, some of these property management, third party platforms. But residential side of things is definitely a bit ahead. And that's why we're excited to be hitting that residential area. You got those brokers that are all over tech and social media. Just got off the phone with another brokerage, and he's the CTO of the brokerage. So it's like,
they have a CTO.
Exactly. So it's like that's a good sign for us that they got a CTO, they got a guy who's focusing on tech. So we were explaining to him how the app will help out his brokers. And
welcome to the Yacht Captain Investor Podcast. I'm your host, Scott Kidd, where every week we dive deep into conversations with real estate pros, business owners, and maritime professionals about their mindset and journey to success. Please help support us on our journey and our channel by liking, subscribing, commenting below so we can help you in your journey to success. How you doing today? Scott Kidd, the Yacht Captain Investor Podcast. Today I have a friend of mine, Gabe Einhorn on. He's doing a lot of great things. As a young man, he's really pushing the envelope, taking on, looks like he's taking the world by storm. So for those that don't really know who you are, just go ahead and give us a brief intro about yourself there, Gabe.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on, Scott. I appreciate it. I'm Gabe Einhorn, 24 now, just turned 24 last week. So feels a little weird saying that. But I'm working on a renter first startup here in New York City, trying to simplify the rental process for everyday renters, give them a secure platform to store all their personal documents and maintain full control throughout the whole rental process, helping both the renters as well as the brokers and owners close more deals quicker, keep everything secure, get rid of the fraud, and hopefully make a big splash with it.
That's such a pretty cool thing. I see a lot of people going that way. It seems like it's a very solution-driven business, because it's a big gap in there where if I was a renter, they always ask for the same amount of docs and the same stuff. And, it'd be nice if you could just house all your stuff and just send it right away. I know are you doing anything, putting it on the blockchain eventually, stuff like that, or?
I don't know. Well, one of my best friends is big into crypto and blockchain. So definitely see the future there as well. So might have to get into that. I know there's a big movement there. So it might be a necessity.
Yeah, I see a lot of things, but commercial real estate and real estate in general is very probably 30 years behind as far as tech goes. It's coming along pretty fast, but I would say the residential space is quicker to adopt the stuff, because the commercial stuff is kind of a controlled environment. A lot of the bigger players are slower to adopt stuff, and that's kind of how it is in the corporate world as well. But are you seeing a lot more solutions like this, becoming readily available?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've been in real estate for just about 3 years now, and they're definitely significantly behind in regards to tech and innovation as opposed to most other industries. They're just slower to adapt in general. Real estate's a lot of older money, a lot of old school guys that don't like to change their ways that they've been doing for 60, 70 years. They don't want to change a thing. Residential definitely has been much more involved with social media and innovation and tech, slowly seeing a little bit more in commercial real estate, some of these property management, third party platforms. But residential side of things is definitely a bit ahead. And that's why we're excited to be hitting that residential area. You got those brokers that are all over tech and social media. Just got off the phone with another brokerage, and he's the CTO of the brokerage. So it's like,
they have a CTO.
Exactly. So it's like that's a good sign for us that they got a CTO, they got a guy who's focusing on tech. So we were explaining to him how the app will help out his brokers and their team and simplify the process. So that's a good sign for us.
Well, that definitely is. Are you making it so you have like an API or a plugin for like other property management softwares and stuff like that, where like AppFolio or something like that, you can plug in to them and just be like in the background or forefront?
Yeah,
Um,
so I mean, it's pretty simple on our end. There's no like direct plugin yet with AppFolio, Yardi, those stuff. We would have to obviously speak to them to make that plugin a little bit more seamless. But it's essentially the renter makes that customizable link with all those documents. So let's say they need, 7 rental documents for the process. They customize that link. They could send it customizably right to the broker, landlord, property manager, and it basically just uploads right onto their computer or phone with that full folder of all those documents, and it could be uploaded right into that AppFolio or that platform pretty easily.
oh, that's really great because that, anything that can supplement and expedite the lease up period, especially new properties, because we're doing a lot of development projects and stuff like that. So anything with that can expedite it, that'll save you money, time, and everything else, because that's pretty critical, especially after these buildings are just built. They need
Exactly.
one to be pre-leased, pre-qualified and everything, and then get that moving. It's really great because sometimes it can take it takes quite a bit to qualify somebody, and that has to all be taken into account. What are you seeing is it's almost instantaneous. Someone can be now that you have the documents. Are you seeing that the process is a lot faster? Are you seeing the gains?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's you're basically giving the renter, you're saying, hey, we have, for example, a new development, you got 100 units available. You're saying, if you want to even consider renting this unit, download this app first, get all your documents uploaded and organized, ready to go. So when you want to come tour it, you have all your documents ready to go, and you say, hey, I like this apartment. You could send all those documents on the spot. You have your full, essentially, rental package. We have a third-party KYC also that verifies your identity as well. And we also are implementing an AI feature which allows you to upload that application form, because each landlord has a different application form for that specific property, where AI will automatically take all the information you have in your profile from all the personal documents and autofill that application form for you. So you really have an all-in-one application folder when you're ready to go and rent that apartment. So it becomes a 5-second thing. We actually are doing a fun thing going around New York City, doing a rental challenge, going up to random people in the streets basically and saying, hey, if you could send me all your rental docs in less than 60 seconds, I'll pay your next month's rent. And so we're going around, and obviously nobody stands a chance because nobody's sending me their bank statements, tax returns, W-2, pay stubs, birth certificate, letter of
Yeah,
employment in less than 60 seconds.
social security card, all that stuff. They don't.
Exactly. So that's gonna be a fun little game. I'm just gonna be going around every couple
Really
of days in New
cool.
York City. So I'm excited
Yeah, I
about
look
that.
forward to. I look forward to watching that one. That'll be fun to watch because it's nice when you can kind of gamify some of the stuff and make it fun for them. Because the lease up process, it can be kind of it can be pretty tough, especially on the resident. They got to get all these documents together. They got a big folder full of stuff, and once you
Yeah.
digitize it, so is it a subscription based model based on the property? Um,
Yeah, so I mean, we're still debating it. We're having conversations. What makes the most sense? It's free for the broker and the landlord to use, so we're charging the renter. Obviously, the renter doesn't want to pay a lot of money, so we're debating. We've gone everywhere from $4.99 to $24.99, trying to figure out somewhere in between there what makes sense. Right now, we're at $18.99 as our per year subscription. So it's essentially you're going to rent this apartment. You pay $18.99. Now you have all access. You might now go apply to multiple apartments, and you have that profile for all of it. So that $18.99 becomes pretty insignificant when you see how much time it's saving you, how it might help you get that first apartment and not lose out, especially in New York City, where if you don't get
yeah,
those documents within a couple hours, you lost that apartment and you're gonna have to go. My brother lost 5 apartments this summer because he couldn't get his documents in time. So
wow.
he ended up spending $100 just on application fees.
Oh yeah,
So that itself, paying that $18.99 would have been worth it.
yeah, most definitely because it would definitely expedite the process. And yeah, some of these application fees can be quite high. So you know. looking for an apartment is tough, because it's very competitive in New York City, especially when you find a good one.
Exactly.
Have you thought, are you actually, it's free for the broker and free for the property owner. Have you thought about having them have a subscription-based model, or is it eventually you're going to just give it out and then do advertising or revenue or some kind of other rev gen?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different approaches to it. Like we have ideas. We know that things are going to change every week depending on the feedback and the usage. And like we're not going to get too stuck on one model because we know
Yeah.
that in the startup world, you end up usually with a model that you didn't initially expect. So we got to keep it open mind. There's different opportunities where you go, implement back end with a full brokerage and they pay you to have all their brokers use it, or a property manager and owner. So there's so many ways to go
Yeah.
more B2B on it instead of B2C. But our initial approach is hitting that renter, hitting that customer, because that's really where there's a gap in the market. Is there's nothing for that renter. There are competitions for the broker, the owner, the property manager, like you said, with the Appfolios and those other third-party tech platforms. But that renter, there's a big gap. So we're gonna focus in on that until anything changes.
Yeah, well, I see definitely so many different applications for if you have a brokerage and you're renting a lot of properties. I see this being, they just pay for it and give it out to their customers or what have you, or they
Yeah,
plug in, because it's safe. Especially somebody has 4 or 5 thousand units, they're going to be renting properties all the time. They're going to need something like this where you could actually track the residents better and stuff like that, and keep in touch with them. I would imagine if you have that, because then you have their data and you can follow them along
sure.
their journey as well. I would imagine, because it's definitely a very useful tool that I think he came up with a pretty good solution here that is going to help. Because we have a couple of apartments that will be coming on next year in Texas. So I'll definitely keep in touch and keep it in mind, because I think
Yeah,
it could be something, something that could be beneficial to us, because especially it's a 98 unit. So it may not necessarily have a full-time staff. It might have some part-time and some, where something like this could save a lot of money and time,
yeah, sure.
could be a thing. But so where do you see it going forward? Just are you the plan is what, to just get it out as much as possible in New York City, or are you expanding to other markets yet?
So we're going to expand. We haven't officially expanded yet. I mean, I've had conversations with people in Dallas, in Pittsburgh, in Florida, in other cities. So it's relevant everywhere. It's more of, I'm boots on the ground in New York City. So I'm going to be literally knocking on doors of brokers and owners here to
Mhm.
try to get it in front of them and get them to use it. The more traction you get in New York City, the more traction you get across the country. That's usually the reality of New York City. If it works
Yeah.
here, it works everywhere.
Yeah.
So we're gonna double down on New York City, get the word out there, and from there, hopefully it grows exponentially.
Yeah, I would imagine if you make it work well in New York City, you can apply that everywhere, because it's very hyper competitive market. The rental market is super competitive. There's a lot of different avenues there. So I would imagine, like you said, make it there. It'll apply everywhere else. But so the rollout, you'd probably be pushing heavy for the next 3 to 6 months in New York City, and then starting to look at other. Because I would imagine you've got 3 to 6 months of working out the bugs and the plan
Yeah.
of what and where you want to. The new, like you said, when you started, it's a completely different strategy than when you're up and running.
Exactly. So it's more right now we're getting in front of brokers and owners, trying to get them to test it in real time. You're not going to get any better feedback than them using it in real time and seeing how the tenant reacts to it, how the broker and the owner reacts to it. So that's going to be that real time testing, getting that feedback, adjusting accordingly. And it's going to be that legwork, where it's me and my brother right now. We're both here in New York City. So we're going to be hitting events, knocking on doors, calling people, emailing them, any way to get in front of them, get them to use it, prove to them why it works. Obviously, you got to prove your value. Then you got to get them to actually use it, and then they see that value. And then once they actually like it, then they're willing to then refer it to the rest of their team and colleagues as well. And it becomes a specific standard that if you're not using it, you're falling behind.
Excellent. So do you have like a demo up online on the web or something like that for people to play around with?
Yeah, so I mean, we have our landing page, which is essentially just a wait list right now for people to sign up because we have the beta app, which is just we're giving out to different brokers and owners to test on their end before it's live, which it'll be live in the next week or two where anyone could go and make a profile. And then on Instagram and social media, I posted that demo video so people could see. It's just like a quick 30-second demo video. We used AI to create it, which is pretty cool, obviously. And then now I'm just going to be doubling down on all social media. You'll probably see me everywhere, not just LinkedIn anymore. Now I'm expanded to everywhere, just talking about the product, talking about both, what our product does, as well as my journey as the founder, trying to, hit both those avenues and utilize that social media reach as much as possible because social media is a powerful tool. And, if we utilize it correctly, it could help us, take this business to levels that we couldn't just with our own mouths.
Yeah, most definitely is because, social media is, a very underestimated tool that's very, very powerful, especially if you get it out in the right way. And all it takes is a few people to actually just the right people to look at it. And you can, especially LinkedIn and stuff, you can really go straight at those actual people, which I think is very, very, very impressive. That which I don't see a lot. A lot of people are using it, but I think a lot more people should really see the value in it.
For sure. It's very powerful. And I mean, I started all this because of Gary Vee, and I always say, he's the guy that got me started. And when he said last year, November time, literally 12 months from right now, he said, LinkedIn is the most underpriced social media tool right now. All the other platforms, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, are flooded with hundreds of millions, billions of people, and LinkedIn is still underutilized. So there's still opportunity for you if you're going to go all in, that you could make some noise and gain some traction. So when he said that, I'm like, I'm going to grab that last little piece of attention that's available, and I'm going to go all in and try to grab all of it. So that's just what I've been doing for, literally 12 months now.
Yeah, it's funny because I saw the exact same thing and I did the exact same thing because I really, it's one of the most underutilized thing, and I see people, especially B2B and stuff like that, have found so many potential partners, investors, just other business people are in similar synergies or whatever, which may not work right now, but later on, you can build that relationship and everything. And it's, I had some people tell me that, they're only on Instagram and Facebook. And I said, well, as a business, you have to be on LinkedIn. You have to be on LinkedIn.
You have to be. It's a no-brainer. I mean, it's literally social media made for business. So like you could get deals, you could get business from all the other platforms, but like you have a platform that was made for businesses, it makes no sense to not be on it.
Yeah. And what I found on LinkedIn especially is that you can reach out to people and they answer. That's how we connected.
Exactly,
you reached out to me and I was like, hey, what's going on? Let's get on a call.
Yeah, literally.
Oh, cool.
I hit you up. Yeah, I DM'd you and you said, yeah, let's get on a call. We got on a call. We did a Zoom. We've been in touch since, and now we're doing a podcast. Like that's how it works. You can you have the opportunity to get in touch with people that you probably never could because their information might not be public or, they're not accessible any other way. And I could just connect with you and shoot you a quick DM and that's it.
And I think the difference that's unique with LinkedIn is that people are there to do business. They're not there to mess around. Like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, they all have a different vibe. YouTube is pretty much the top for all the educational stuff. If you want, Instagram, it's a little more social and stuff, a little more fun. But you're not. A lot of times, I've reached out to people on Instagram and I usually don't get a response. But on LinkedIn, I would say at least 50% of the time I get a response. Hey, no, I'm not interested, or hey, that sounds interesting. Let's get on a call. And it's very, very unique. It's been a really great thing for me because I've found just a lot of different people that have shared. And the better part about it is that people will even just share their entire story and tell you exactly how they were doing it. Like, hey,
Yeah.
no, this got messed up, but I did this, this, and this. And like, okay, that's cool because
Yeah.
that puts me ahead now because I know not to do that. And that's what's really cool, you know. So what's on the near future and the 2 year plan for you?
Yes, I mean, near future obviously is getting the startup up and running. Like you said, the next 3 to 6 months is really that work. It's going to be hard work, long days, early mornings. Not really anything else except for the work. Like really cutting off anything else that's going to waste time. Like I got to really buy into it, and like I'm excited when I wake up in the morning. I jump out of bed. I know I got so much to do and I got to get it done. No one else is going to get it done except for me. So I got all the weight on my shoulders. I'm in New York City. All the opportunities here. So it's just putting my head down and getting that work in. From there, it's exploring potential partnerships, seeing, who could help us then take us to the next level, because obviously I can only do so much. And there's obviously much bigger players in the industry, the Zillows, the Street Easies, or the Corcorans, the Compasses, those big companies that could be a potential partnership once we get enough traction. I can't just show up to them now with no users and say, hey, let's partner. They're going to laugh at me. But
Yeah.
if I put in that hard work, which it's going to take that hard work, get that traction, and then come to them with a little bit of a track record and say, hey, this could be beneficial for the both of us for a partnership, that can then take us from this level to this level. So that's, that 6 to 12 mark, I would say. And then from there, it's, sky's the limit. So I'm excited about that, and really utilizing a mix of those obviously in-person events, hopefully going to start hosting events here in New York City as well. Get the noise around, sponsor a couple events with the company, and then, utilizing social media, really doubling down. It's been cool what social media has been able to do for me in the last 12 months, in my business prior in the commercial real estate finance side of things. And now with the startup, really just gave me connections to some of the top real estate players in New York City as well as in the country that I never would have had access to if it were not for social media. So now I have them as people that the Bob Knackles and the Paul Masseys, that these guys that I'm actually in touch with, which, they answer my texts and my calls. I could go meet with them and talk to them about my startup, and they could help me, guide me to the next people to speak to. So now just doubling down on that social media, getting creative, like I said, with that rent challenge in New York City, doing the fun stuff as well as the basic educational stuff, which are the more boring videos that explain, how we help you, but they're necessary, obviously. And then doing the more fun stuff, going around holding a wad of $2,000 cash and, telling people, if you could send me all those documents in 60 seconds, I'll pay your next month's rent. I think those could make a big splash too. So that's that's what we got going on the next 12 to 16 months. So I'm excited, but obviously, like I said, things will change. I know that it's not going to be a straight path forward, and we got to adjust and adapt. And I'm ready for whatever's going to come.
No, that's great. I'm excited for you because, I look forward to seeing this stuff. Be glad to share it out, and see where it goes, because I think it's a very unique platform. And you're no longer doing the brokerage stuff, or you're doing a little bit here and there.
A little bit. So I'm working actually with Paul Massey. That's how I got my job. Is I got in touch with him through LinkedIn, obviously. So I'm parking myself here at his shop. We're doing some capital market stuff. They do the investment sales, selling buildings in New York. So we got a small team here doing the finance stuff. So I'm involved with that on the day to day. But the 90% of the time is really getting the startup out there. That's got to be the full focus with the meetings, events, and everything, because it's going to take 12 to 15 hours a day of that hard work to really get it off the ground.
Yeah, the one to many strategy. You're gonna have to get it to as many people as quickly as possible. So, I'd be glad to help, and glad to help you promote, or what have you, because I think it's a pretty cool tool. And if there's any kind of synergy later on, we'll see with what our development stuff, and see if maybe I look forward to the journey going forward, because it's like I said, I like your energy. You're obviously hyped and ready to go and doing it, and your videos are fun, and you're doing some cool stuff that it's pretty outside of the box. People, I like when people get really creative and stuff, and it's plus you make it fun. You're supposed to have some fun with it. If you're
For
not
sure.
having fun, you gotta find a different way. So you know, I look forward to the journey and stuff. And so for people that want to find out more about this, where they find you?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm on all social media, Gabe Einhorn, Einhorn. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn's my main platform. And in regards to the company, it's called Verify ID, VRYFID.com. You can look it up. It's on all social media as well. We got a website going on right now, and that's really it.
Oh, that's easy. That's really simple. So 24, started your own company, was in commercial real estate, and definitely check Gabe out because he's going to be doing some great things. If you don't keep an eye on him, you just might miss what he's got going because he moves fast too, and that's New York fast. So that's really fast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The fastest in the world, New York City.
Yeah, no, it's good. I look forward to seeing the journey and watching and everything, and anything I can do to help, be
Yes,
glad
sir.
to because it's I'm getting excited here just talking to you because especially a lot of young people get bad rep. They don't want to do anything, this and that or whatever. But I think it's more of a it's some of these that's a bit misguided because there's a lot of people doing a lot of things, and I think what it is also is you younger guys, that you have a lot of opportunity ahead of you where you can run, with your phone, you can run, multi-million dollar company from your phone. Because I mean, you
Sure.
think about it, Instagram was what, 13 people, $1 billion valuation. So think of how many $1 million companies could be one or two people.
It's
You and your
true.
brother, could be
That's it.
pretty easy, and it's a digital product, so you don't really need to house it anywhere. You don't necessarily need an office, so
True.
I get a little frustrated when people say there's no opportunity or no. Well, you just gotta keep looking because there's lots of opportunity out there. I mean,
There's on with technology, social media, there's almost unlimited opportunity for any regular person to go out there and become something great. So
yeah,
it's pretty awesome.
there's if you provide a solution and provide value, there's an opportunity there. It's just you gotta, like you're saying, it's going to be long days, long nights, but hey, it's a lot of work being poor and broke too.
For sure.
It
That's
ain't
for
easy.
sure.
You can be working one way or the other.
For sure.
It's not easy being broke, but well, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your stuff, and I look forward to the journey because I get excited. You're what you're doing on social media pops up in my feed all the time just because I keep track of you and stuff like that, and I like the very positive vibe. So I look forward to it, and I really appreciate you coming on.
Yes, sir. Thanks so much, Scott. Appreciate having me on.
You're welcome. We'll definitely do a follow up in like 6 months or something like that. Definitely track it
For
out
sure.
because we don't know where you're going to be in 6 months, but we know it's going to be something good.
Yes,
So
sir. That's it. We're only going up. So
yeah, man. So I well appreciate you coming on. I'm Scott Kidd, the Captain Investor. Just a quick reminder that the best investment you can make is the one you make in yourself. So invest wisely in yourself. And we'll talk to you guys next time. And have a great week, great Thanksgiving and holiday week. Holiday.